It's been another record-breaking week in Des Moines real estate. Not only record-breaking for real estate, but also for the weather. We hit over 100 degrees this week for the first time this year. Stick around. Let's talk about all the hot stuff that's happening in today's market. Hey there, welcome to the show. My name's Les Solgrove. This is Simply Des Moines via Realtors, and we're talking about record-breaking news again this week. We on a couple of days ago, even though this graphic says Sunday, we broke through the 2,500 homes for sale count for the first time this year. And to give you some perspective of how that really is comparing to the last couple of years, in 2021, the highest number of homes we had on the market were 2,304 homes. And so we're up a couple hundred houses over that. In 2020, we were at 3,616 was our year-to-date high. So my hope is that we break that record this year as well. I think we're on track to hit 3,000. So that's kind of my question. A couple of weeks ago, I asked everybody to submit in the comments below when they think we're going to hit 2,600, which is coming right up here. And we have a couple of guesses so far, but I'm going to ask that same question. How long do you think it'll be before we hit 3,000 homes for sale? So let's just stick around and see what happens here with this home inventory counts. It's been quite amazing and refreshing. So the week 29 dashboard as of Sunday night, 2,502 homes for sale, 2,857 homes for sale. Those two numbers are significant because they are getting closer and closer and closer together. You talk about a breaking news for the week. When we actually end up with more homes for sale than we have in the sale pending bucket, that's going to take us out of this inverted market. And I'm not going to really talk about inverted market this week because I'm saving that for here when we break through that. And I think we're probably maybe a week or two, maybe 3 away from actually getting out of that inverted market, and that's going to trigger a lot of feelings of familiarity. That's a new word I've been trying to learn how to pronounce this week, but everything's going to start to feel very familiar again as we move into the fall market, I think, and that's also a good thing. Days on market are 4 days overall. 2.1 months of inventory. Year-to-date closed sales were at 8,914, which you know what that means. We're going to have another milestone that I'll talk about next week here. That 9,000 closed sales is probably going to happen on Monday at the end of day. So watch for just a minor release on that as well. 278 is our median list price year-to-date as well. And keep in mind, I think that's what we're going to talk about today is pricing and such. So let's just jump right in for this week's topic. It's called The Message for Fall. And that is, in my book, I'm going to say the message for fall is price cuts. I think that we're going to see price reductions across the board as we move into the fall. And so I did a little bit of research today. This is the weekly price reduction report that I always put out, or that I collect every week. I don't always put it out, but we've been talking about it here in the last couple of weeks. And what you notice here is that for this week, week 29, we've had the most price reductions this week, over 300 price reductions, and that's a pretty good jump over last year when we had about 180 during this period of time. I think that we're going to see another strong price reduction week next week as well. As we get towards the end of July, a lot of homeowners are getting the feeling of, hey, if our homes are not selling in 2 or 3 days, like we're kind of accustomed to, then we need to do something to make that happen. And price reductions are the logical response to that. So how does this look on a monthly basis? Now, keep in mind, this is through July 24th. And the month of June, we had 887 price reductions overall. And the black line with the dots there, that's last year. So we are steadily outpacing 2021's price reductions ever since April. We've kind of tied it in March, but ever since April, we've started to see more and more price reductions. We have one more week of price reductions, and if we get another 300, obviously that would put us close to or above, actually above 1,000 price reductions for the month, and that means that this chart's going to have to adjust because right now it goes up to 1,000. But I think that's going to be a strong sign that the market is definitely changing. So we'll watch this in the next couple of weeks, and probably as we move into the fall, this is probably going to be a popular and a recurring graphic here, the monthly price reduction. So stick around on that one each week. So the question comes is, if we're doing price reductions, how does that look overall on the home pricing field here? And what you see on this graphic is the median list price of all homes for sale. And you can kind of see that we really kind of peaked around that April-May period of time there. And so we've started to see a little bit of a downward trend in median list pricing. However, that doesn't look quite the same when you break it down by a couple of different categories. And by far, we're still well ahead, of last year. Do look at the black line right about where the red line ends there, near the end of July, 1st of August. You'll see that there was a pretty substantial drop in median pricing last year about this time. I believe that also could happen here this next week or two, especially if we get some more price reductions. But pricing overall looks like it's sort of peaked and maybe is stable a little bit, but it goes up and down just a tad. But let's look at this based on a couple of the subcategories. So here's existing homes. We're starting to see a surge come back in existing homes coming on the market. And what it looks like here is we may be seeing just a slight bump up in median list price. And, that's not a bad thing. We're getting inventory into the marketplace in the existing home sales side. And that's an area that's still very, very, desperate, I would say, for homes to sell. So we have a lot of buyers out there that are still buying. And you can see we're at one point where we're pushing almost $300,000 for the median list price on existing homes. So the areas that we're seeing the reductions that's kind of keeping us down a little bit is probably going to be more in the condo townhome selection. But so this is the existing homes median list price, and how does it compare to new construction single family homes? This one always interests me because where the existing homes have the ability to kind of follow the market, just pretty much dictates, as homes come on the market, we just follow that. So you see you have ups and downs. But when you get into new construction, the builders are pretty much controlling the pricing. And it's quite amazing that around the end of April, 1st of May, we saw a little bit of a bump above $400,000. And it was, in my opinion, it was kind of the point where the builders were kind of saying, can we increase pricing and still sell inventory? And I think what they saw was that, in the month of May, end of April, 1st of May, we started to see kind of a dip in pending sales in the new construction. And so they brought that pricing back down. Now, keep in mind, this is median list price. So that means that half of the homes that are for sale as new construction, single family, are listed above 400,000. Half of them are below 400,000. So this isn't the average, this is the median. So half and half, above and half below. But I just always find it very interesting. You can just literally see that, that median price is sitting right there, right at $400,000 on across the board there. The inventory is also on the rise. So besides pricing, here's our inventory levels. We are starting to see, this increase every week. And I can always tell by about Tuesday, if I can really look at how many homes new came on the market on a Tuesday and get a good gauge as to how we're going to end the week. Because if Tuesday beats out the previous Tuesday homes on the market, then that tells us that things are really ramping up for that week. And again, we've broke through that 2,500 homes for sale in the overall category of all homes, and we're still growing. And the natural tendency of this, if you look at the black line below, is that we do typically continue to build inventory through about October, early November, to the point then at which it starts to slow down. So we've got another, August, September, and October, and maybe even to November, to the point where we can still build inventory. And this is where my hope is that we'll, break through that 3,000 pretty quickly, and maybe break through that 3,616 homes that were for sale in 2020 as the high. And that would be quite amazing, because the 3,616 high count in 2020 was actually early in the year, right before COVID hit. So for us to bounce back, post-COVID at that point would be just really amazing. This is what the existing homes inventory looks like. We are pushing close to 1,200 homes for existing homes on the market. Currently, we're about 1,075 or so. And again, it's still growing as well. It follows that same trajectory as the overall inventory does. And the new construction is quite interesting, because if you look, we are at the height of home inventory for new construction right now at this time of the year, compared to last year when we were almost at the bottom. We actually hit bottom of inventory between May and June, but we're not very far from that of inventory from 2021. Right now, we were, just over 650 homes on the market last year at this time, and we have over 950 on the market right now. So we certainly have a large supply of homes for sale in the new construction arena, and this is why the months of inventory is so high. In fact, we'll talk about months of inventory here in just at the very end of this program today. In fact, here it is. Months of inventory. You can see that overall, the months of inventory as of today, on Sunday when this was recorded, is right at 2 months of inventory. So in other words, if no new homes come on the market and the buying pace continued, overall, it'd take us about 60 days to sell everything we have on the shelf. If we were talking just about new construction, where we're still talking about almost 8 months of inventory. So it would take almost 8 months to sell the new construction. The single family resale and the single family condo townhomes are all still selling very, very quickly within that, 1 to 1.25 of a month here. So, but this does show you that we are moving, quite a bit above the last year's numbers there. I say quite a bit, and that really is quite a bit when you think about it, because this is the amount of inventory that we've been used to selling all year long. And the pace that it sells is certainly an indication of the pace of the market. So that's really about it for this week's show. I think, let's go back to this screen here. Next week will be an interesting week. July 31st is a Sunday, and I usually do end of week, and it'll also be end of month. It probably won't be a full end of month comparison, because it'll be just too much to try to analyze on a Sunday night for a Monday release for the week. So I'll release a lot of what I typically do for Sunday nights for the end of month, and then we'll talk about the following week, really what happened and the changes we're seeing as we move deeper into the summer market here and heading towards fall. So thanks for joining me this week. Please do me a favor, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I hope to see you all again next week. And take care, be safe, and stay cool out there.